Hello, it's Mike Rasmussen with CPA Straight Talk for Small Business, June 10th. How's everybody doing today? So I am, wow, what's the latest today? Let's see. Well, haven't really found, I'm going to really go through the site with the SBA site right now. And then I want to, again, walk through the Excel sheet. Because we've been making some good progress on having that you can post it to the internet. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go a little bit slower today on this. So where I'm going to is secure site sba.gov, and it's showing all of the programs that are there. And the one that we're focusing on is the Paycheck Protection Program. And then again, just to review, as of yesterday, there was new guidance. It was saying new guidance was coming, and it is now the 10th. So this was as of Monday. So let's go see one of the places I like to go to, which is right here, which is AICPA org, and this is to go to their website. And let's see, go to right here for you. Town Hall, that's June 4th. And these are the, let's go to the resources. Go to COVID-19, here we go. And let's see if there's anything new here. Subtopics, I don't see, I'm always looking for the latest day. Okay, so I don't see anything there. So I'm going to jump back up to right here, and I'm going to jump down. Some of the things I want to do is here's frequently asked questions, and I want to go to the download and just see if there's anything. We've been on question 48. So let's see if we've got anything there. Nope, we're all good there. So then I'm going to go back and just kind of seeing what I'm doing. And how to calculate, we've got that one, interim file affiliations, and that's in the frequently asked group, faith-based. Okay, we've got that one. Let's see, visit list of participating vendors to download. That's the actual application, which I've got. Actually, not that one right here. I've got and that's how many loans. There's the initial, that's the loan forgiveness, and then there's the borrow application. So I have both of those. We've got that, and let's go back in here, paycheck, the program, eligibility, affiliate requirements, loan for SBA, certain telephone co-ops, that hasn't really affected us. Whole loan sales on lender processing fee payment, 1502, that had to do with notifying the SBA. That's the lender forms, SBA, and then we jump down here to, this is as of Monday night. And again, so really nothing's changed here for how many approved dollars. Has really not gone up very much. And I don't see any different. Let's jump over to the EIDL right here. And new eligibility, I don't see any. It's still agricultural, we talked about, and that's the EIDL loans as of that date. And let's see how many we got here. So, and again, the difference between the EIDL advances and the loans, but okay, so that really, so basically what I'm looking at is I don't see anything. And then the only thing I like to do is I go to, I just Google, that's our calculator. And then here I just do PPP space, and I'll flip through and see if there's anything recent. PPP, paycheck, SBA, small bit, accepting, and that's just, so then here's 5 hours ago. Following messy enormous shows signs of, and I like to look and see a pandemic and a recession, what it all means for small business owners. Just got more time to use it. That was, here's what else you need to know. I like to look to CNN better than Washington Post. So I'll sit here and just go. So this was yesterday at 3 o'clock, what they had rules, the paycheck, there's the Flexibility Act. And we know about that. More times, less money must be dedicated to payroll. That's the 60%. More time to rehire staff. Okay, we knew that. More time to repay. That's right, it goes to 5. Who benefits, who doesn't. June 3rd remains the last day which a PPP loan application can be approved. Yep, we knew that. New rules likely not as who received the new rules will not benefit or at the near end of their 8-week period and have spent most, if not all, of their funding in accordance with the old rules. Okay. Who already got their PP loans but haven't spent the bulk of them may have a benefit, but a number of technicals will need to be addressed by Treasury. The best of us wait to see what the guidance and rules are and then consult with your account. Okay, that's and the SBA has been advocating for all loans under 150,000. That's what I was looking at right there. So this, let's just see where this is taking me a link to, which kind of scares me live, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that's basically what it's trying to do. It's going to CNN. So, well, it's actually going to Consumer Banker Association. But let's see. Automatic PPP would save small business billions, and I couldn't agree with you more. So 85% of the loans are the full copy of the association's letter. I like this right here. So loans less than $150,000, but less than 26% PPP loan that we overwhelmingly these small businesses, and that was June 2nd. I think we've already talked about this one. But anyway, this is from the Honorable, oh, here we go, to Marco Rubio. And this is what talks about the 150,000 independent analysis. This is, anyway, this is somebody advocating for it. So it is not law. This is so far away from law that I sure don't want to, go any farther with that one. But then I will pick off and let's just see where they take me to the paycheck. We already knew that they did this as of June. So this is all old news. Okay. So I don't see anything new on the Paycheck Protection Flexibility Act that is actually law. Okay. So, which is really what I was looking for here as of Monday. Treasury of the partial loan, but a joint statement. Let's look and see. Anytime it goes to U.S. Treasury, I like this just because it's, and let's see if there's anything here. Don't mean to take up a little bit of your time, but upcoming procedures. So basically all that this did right here is copy the upcoming procedures. Lower the 75 to 60, extend the coverage period 8 to 24. Provide a safe harbor election, both for how you were at February 15th, issued between March 1 and December. That's by OSHA, CDC, and then there's also a safe harbor when you have your employees who were employees on the bar February 15th, unable to hire similarly qualified employees, unfilled, and then increase 5-year maturity of the loan based on the date assigned on or after June. Any loans on or after June 5th of 2020, that's actually, you can actually go to 5 years, and that's really because you're already through your 8 weeks. So what I do see is that if you have a loan in April and May, and before this June 5th, we need some documentation. Can you actually go back, and for loans before June 5th, can you elect the 5 years? Increase to 5 years that are approved by SBA on or after June 5th. So you may still be subject to the 2 years, and that's what it's looking at right here. Extend the deferral period for borrower payments of principal interest. I mean, this is something that I talked to you about, is that was originally 6 months. So now you're not, by the time you get your forgiveness calculation, then you're not going to be paying. That's a good thing. You're not going to be paying any on the principal and interest. June 3rd remains the last date on which a PPP loan. I'm going to leave this one up here because this was good. And that's actually what I like, the statement of remarks from the U.S. Treasury, which is a secure site. So that's it. And here is the Main Street Lending Program. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna leave that. So I want to then go to back to where we always go, which is go to the Excel spreadsheet, because we are feverishly working on this. And one of the things I want to do is, this was as of rules of May 29th, but we're going to be pulling this off. But let's walk through this. What do I need from you? What do you need? What would you need to give me? You would need to give me the payroll reports of what I showed yesterday to be able to take by, and in this example, by pay period. This one happens to be information by week, but if you paid every other week, you would actually do the pay run would be the first check date ending. So in this case, we had date of PPP funds received on 4/1, but the next payroll date after PPP, an alternative 8-week date, which is basically going to be 4/5, it's going to go 4/5. So 4/5 is going to be right here, and then the next period, and so it's going to be 8 periods after that. Okay, and this is assuming you got your loan before June 5th, or before now, and then you're going to be electing, and you're electing really the 8-week period because you're already. So let's just assume. And this is the way this alternative 8-week is going to work. So although we got to receive the funds on the first, the 4/5 is for the pay run. So basically that's a normal payroll, and you're electing it for period incurred up through this. So that would mean you would have 4 payrolls. One here, would be the 4/5, and that'd be 4 payrolls. So I need those, your CPA, you would need a report that runs gross payroll by a period that ends on each of the dates in the covered period. So if you pay every other week, you're going to need 4 payroll reports. Okay, 4 payroll reports. Okay, now then you're going to actually manually enter in by employee what the gross payroll is for each employee. You're going to enter that right here, okay? And then what you're also going to do is normally on that report, it's going to show any employer's 401k match, any employer health insurance benefits, and state unemployment amount. Those are normally below down in the employer section of the payroll reports, which I showed you yesterday. You'll enter those in by pay period. So basically on the paycheck that was issued 4/5 of 20, you're going to be entering those in this column. Week 2 would be blank because you're paying every other week, and then week 3 would be your next pay period. So you would have 1, 3, 5, and 7 filled out here, okay, for your 8-week, what you're using, okay? Then the next thing that you're going to do is in that same, you are going to go into your accounting program, and on a cash basis, you're going to go in and look from the date of disbursements, basically from the PPP money for 8 weeks. Pick that select date range in your cash disbursements and your profit loss in your accounting program, and pull out rent paid and pick it by week, okay? And then electric, gas, water, but you should only be seeing if you typically pay your rent the first week of the month, and that's when you've got your PPP funds on the first, you should see a rent here and a rent here. Same with pretty much all of these, unless the gas, water, all of these are staggered, but you ought to only see 2 of them, which is 4 utility contracts, rent contracts, and any debt that you had. So this interest on a mortgage as of February 15th, you should really only see 2. So this transportation is only possibly every month because you possibly use a vehicle, and it's kind of that's not the best one well defined, but this is basically transportation on for taking care of your employees. It's not really defined. So I'm gonna stop right there because I'm gonna have to get back to you tomorrow on transportation, okay? because I really don't want to jump in to tell you what that is or isn't. But I'm going to make a note to get you on transportation. Okay. So now we've done the payroll. If you pay every other week, this is going to be April 5th, and you ought to see 4 of those there. Okay. And then what's going to happen? So yours should basically look like this. I'm going to go, if you were paying every other week, I'm going to do this. I'm going to delete those. This is what it would look like. Okay. And then there's your final one. Okay. That is what, if you're paying every other week. Okay. And then right here is going to be if you pay in the first week and then the first week of April and first week of May. This is an 8-week period. This looks good. And I'm going to say that you're incurring transportation. Okay. Now, also same situation here. You're going to have, these are going to be more than likely 0 because they're going to be by pay period. Okay. And even your state unemployment may just be first of the month, middle of the month. So the state unemployment, but those are going to be off your payroll reports. There you go. That's pretty much what the input's going to be. Then you go over to your payroll accumulator. Those are actually going to be pulled over into your covered period. Okay. So this sheet, which is, entering the yellows, you're looking at let's see, 94,000. So let's see, we run it over here there's your 94,000. So that's how these sheets go together. Now this sheet, this payroll accumulator sheet, is actually used for to determine if you have paid an employee more than 25 or less of what they were making on an average in the first quarter. So here's how this works. You need to go pull a payroll report for the period January 1 to March 31, 2020. Then you jump in and I'm going to go Robert, employee number 3, hourly, basically was employed January 1 to March 13th, March 31st. Now that's 13 weeks. He averaged 40 hours a week. Okay. He was paid in total wages of $6,500. So basically what that's doing there, this is a calculation. You can see right up here of he makes $12.50 an hour. Okay. Now, if this would have been, if he only worked 1 quarter or part of the quarter or less than 13 weeks, you would just simply put in there 8 weeks at 40 hours a week, and then it's going to come up. But what we're coming up with is this hourly for the first quarter. Okay. What was your average hourly rate that you were paid for the first quarter? Then for an hourly employee. Okay. Then you jump over to in your covered period. What was, you worked 40 hours a week and you were paid for 8. So you would expect that's your average annual, or right here at 625 versus 1250. Okay. So then there is a negative there. Okay. So then what you're looking at over here is you're trying to find out, did you basically percentage of covered periods less than 25%, and is to be greater than, so each one, okay, is 1250, and that was as of February 15th, because that's the average over there, and then average that's the same average. So, and then the average salary here was 12. So that means is it greater? So right here, this no is meaning that there are no wages. You comparing this column to that column. So if this column, if it was greater than, okay, then what you would be doing is taking the difference, and you would basically, these would be filled out here for you. Okay. There is no employee in this sample that has that the wages in the covered period are greater than what you had in the first quarter. Okay. That's how that works. Glad that's so confusing. Bottom line is, and then down here, it's pulling, these wages are pulling from the original input sheet. And then that's what both these are doing. Okay. All right. So then you're going to jump up into the non-payroll costs, and non-payroll costs. This sheet has no yellows up here. It's just pulling from, it's actually pulling from information that you put right here. So for example, I put in for rent, we have $2,000, we have $3,000 total. If you go to the non-payroll, you have, here's your, this is your rent. You have 2,000, 1,000, there's your 3,000. So you can see I'm clicking in here. You're not going to be able to change out of this. And this is important because this 1,500, 3,000, and 2,100 of the non-payroll counts are going to run over to 1,500, 3,000 up to the front page. And this front page, again, is where you're going to be taking this information literally, and we're doing this right now for several of our clients, is we take that information and actually go to the application, and that's Schedule A. We're going to go to the very first part on Schedule A here. Those are the certifications. And so, for example, we would be putting payroll costs, mortgage interest, rent, and utility. This first part of what we have to give to the lender is going to be right here, column or cells right there, okay? So many of these, several of these are going to be exactly where you take the input here and then populate that form. Okay, so now you've got what's called your total eligible. This accrued interest on a PPP loan is going to be, if you have your 8 weeks, so when you originally, whatever date your PPP loan, which was 4/1, you're accruing interest on that loan that's not forgiven, okay? So you put that number here as if, well, and I'm going to take that back. That number is going to be the interest, a 1% interest on your original PPP amount. In this case, it's 235. So you add those together, and at the, again, is right at the end of the 8-week period. So it's only going to be 1% times two couple months. So 6,000 is going to be pretty high for that. But anyway, that gives you an adjusted, right here, an adjusted. Now, if we would have had a salary from any employee greater than 25%, we reduce their hourly rate from this other schedule right here, the payroll accumulator, then we would have added that, which it didn't. And so we keep that number 142. This 100% is from, in our scenario, we had 38 employees and 2 employees that made over $100,000. Where did that come from? We have total right here. We have 40 employees and 2 are right here. It's looks like me and another owner, and we made more than 20, actually, well, actually I pulled that out so we wouldn't. So really all 40 right now, because this would be 15,000. So what we would have to do right here, let me change this to 10,000 and you'll see how that works. 10,000 and that'd be 15,000, 17,000, but this right here, this formula limits you to 15,384, okay? And I'm gonna change this to 10,000 because that'll just show you for illustration. These two then will actually be, one is for a owner. Oh, not there. And then let's go right here. One is for the owner, which is 15, and then one is for the other that made over $100,000. Okay. So then I go, let's go into the payroll. Nope, I'm gonna go to Schedule A. Okay. What's that? Okay, there we go. All right, so I had 38 and 2. 2 were making 2, which is basically what I had. So I had 38 and 2. And what this is doing is figuring out if the number of employees that you had at February 15th compared to periods during your covered period. So average number during the covered period is 38 and 2. And that is from right there. So that's how many I had. That's the average number of employees I have, 38, and then 2 that made over 100,000. That's a total of 40. Then I said, right here, business not in operation 19, you got to pick the number of employees of 40 or that you had from January 1 to 29. That would have been right here on your payroll accumulator. That's why you did the quarter 1. Okay, Q1 of 2020. That's what you're looking at there. Then, and then you compare, or you can compare it back to February 15 of 19 to June 30, same. So either one of those, you're comparing it. So if one is higher than the other, you only need to enter one. So I would just basically enter 0 there. Okay. So then down here is just it's yellow because you're doing a safe harbor, which says, you know, how many did you have in your covered period? And then how many did you have at February 15th? And again, if it's 40 and 40, then you're going to be ending up with a ratio of 100%. So that means there will not be a reduction. There will not be a reduction in your what's the quotient on the calculator up here. So this number is going to remain 100%. If, for example, you only had, you received, and you in your look back period, you actually had 50 way back then, okay, which would have been right here, you would have had 50. This is telling you that you have got to, you weren't able to, sorry, that was someone calling me. You're not going to be able, you're going to see where you've got your Schedule A, and you're going to see on the front page here that, oh, that's right, that's going to be a division. Let's just move this back. What you want is you want the 1-to-1, okay? And if for some reason you attempted to bring back employees and you can actually prove that, then you're going to be able to not include them in this calculation. You're not going to need to include them, and where that will be right here. And actually, I'm fixing that today so that you can, if this happened to be less than 38, so you can bring it up to 40 and 40, so that by the time you go to the calculator, you're going to see 100% there. So then, in summary, at the end, what your forgiveness is going to be the lower of, which is right here, the lower of 8, which is 155, which is how much you've actually spent, okay, or the loan amount, or in this case, it's going to, it would be the payroll cost, which is your 142 divided by, and this will turn into actually, that will be 0.6. I've done that, right? So in this case, you're only going to have forgiven at this point, because you haven't spent your 235, you're only going to get forgiven 155, less the amount that you got for your original EIDL grant. So there's your loan that is a remaining balance. And on that note, I'm going to save this because I want to talk about this amount tomorrow and why I want to talk about that is that may not be all that bad. I'm going to go through why that is not bad tomorrow. Okay. So on that note, I am going to, I'm going to quit. I think we're done. That's my 30 minutes. And I'm going to end up tomorrow with exactly why it's not bad. And there's a great article that I'm reviewing right now to be able to share with you why having excess PPP funds might not be all that bad. Okay. Take care and have a great day.